I like this anime style for some reason. The isekai and fantasy genre is overdone completely. We have experienced some great isekai like Mushoko Tensei, The Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime, Konosuba, etc. And obviously, we have had a lot of terrible isekai like In Another World with My Smartphone, The Strongest Sage with the Weakest Crest, and Arifureta. Like, honestly, I don't know how some of these have multiple seasons. One specific kind of isekai has always kept me interested. The shows are usually just okay at best, but the concept is what I believe makes me want more. Shows like I'm in love with the villainess and My Life as a Villainess, All Routes Lead to Doom. I love the idea that the protagonist gets isekai'd into a video game, knows everything about the game, unintentionally gets a secret ending while trying to be the villain or get with the character trying to become the villain. And honestly, they're probably the nicest person in the show. I place most isekai in certain categories. Number one, relaxing. An example of this for me is Farming Life in Another World. Number two, interesting. An example of this is I got a cheat skill in another world and became unrivaled in the real world too. Or the world's finest assassin gets reincarnated in another world as an aristocrat. Quick note, F these long titles and the Japanese titles are just as bad. Here's an example of the assassin one. It's Sekai Saiko no Ansatsha Isekai Kizoku ni Tensei Suru. Anyway, number three, mainstream. That's like ReZero or Mushoku Tensei. Number four, just flat out weird. I mean, Harem in the Labyrinth of Another World and Nah, sorry. Redo Healer, the creator Rui Tsukiyo, just needs help. I feel like I'm in love with the villainess and My Life as a Villainess, All Routes Lead to Doom. Check off most of the categories I mentioned, but they don't oversaturate everything. They are relaxing enough to watch, but you need to pay attention because the protagonist might do something weird, like ask out a supporting character. Interesting because they know that each decision technically impacts the rest of the story. I think the isekai scene needs help when it comes to how characters die. Getting hit by a car or truck-kun isn't something that always needs to happen. Or the way the protagonist died doesn't need to be brought up over the course of the show. Maybe mention it once, three times at most, but make them brief. And I feel like the shows I mentioned do a pretty good job about that. They don't over explain everything like, oh, he got hit by a car and blah, blah, blah. No, they die, it gets brought up, and then they almost never bring it up again. At least with The Eminence in the Shadow, I thought Modu Kageno was funny because he kinda acts like the edgelord everyone wanted to be growing up. You know dang well he watched Akame ga Kill and Mirai Nikki back to back and thought he was hard. Oh, and at least he wanted to get isekai'd. I mean, bro bashed his head into a rock multiple times, basically screaming, I am atomic, then got hit by a car, which is probably one of the more interesting ways someone's gotten isekai'd. Bro was literally trying to erase himself. We can also address other things in the show that I think should be shown some love. They show anyone in the show can get with anyone. The whole point of I'm in love with the villainess is that the main character, Rei Ohashi, likes and wants to go out with Claire Francois, which is a girl-girl relationship. It is weird if you look at the fact that Rei has the mentality of a 30-year-old woman and she knows everything about Claire, but we won't look too deep into that. In My Life as a Villainess, All Routes Lead to Doom, Katerina Claris doesn't want to fall in love as it would lead to a bad ending. However, most of the support characters or her friends end up having a crush on her, and this is a mix of guys and girls. Even though it is obvious who she will get with at the end, I appreciate that they kind of play into everyone's ideal couple. Almost like how the mangaka for Saikano, How to Raise a Boring Girlfriend, gave us an ending for every character. I also like Rei Ohashi as a character. I think it's interesting because she is willing to do anything to get with Claire, and due to this relentless effort, we see Claire change over time, going from an Ice Queen type vibe to someone with an open heart. When we look at Rei and the way she acts, she's not super possessive and doesn't really get too jealous. Hell, I almost think Claire is the jealous type and the possessive one. Katerina Claire's is also quirky in her own way. Being reincarnated into a high-class family, she doesn't follow any of the high-class standards. She thinks growing vegetables will be helpful in raising her magic skill, or if she gets the bad ending, which means she is banished from the kingdom, growing vegetables will help her earn a living wage. The tomboyish, carefree attitude is something Rei and Katarina both have. And I think that's what helps push the likableness of the characters. Now, I am saying this, and a lot of characters have this trait, but I think with these two specifically, it helps drive the anime. Anyway, the isekai into a video game, but I'm trying to avoid the bad route, is a very weird reason for why I enjoy isekai anime. However, the isekai genre has always been hit or miss, and I think as time goes on, we will eventually see if we can get more hits like Mushoko Tensei, Konosuba, etc. However, I also expect it to take a massive plummet. One thing I am glad about though is that just this one style of isekai will keep me watching the genre. Tell me what you think about isekai anime. Tell me what you look for in an isekai anime. Check out my other anime videos, project type videos, and the current gaming series. I'm Understring Joel758, and all I got left to say is sayonara.